it's Kendall here, and today we are going to be talking about my Korean textbook collection of stuff. I don't know why that was so difficult to say. Over the time that I've had this channel and over the time that my Korean has, gotten better and kind of stagnated, a lot of people have asked me like what books have I used in the past and what books am I using currently. And so today I just wanted to show you guys all of the books that I have, and also there may be a giveaway somewhere in this video. Just putting that out there. If you have any recommendations for books that I should try, please put that down in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. But if you'd like to hear my recommendations, then just keep watching. First, let's talk about the basics. When I say the basics, I mean the books that you're most likely going to be recommended to if you are studying Korean at a university. That is the integrated Korean books from Clear. This is produced by the Hawaii University presses over there. And basically these are kind of the standard books that a lot of, at least United States universities use if they have a Korean program. A lot of places don't. It's not a very common program from what I've heard, but it's becoming more and more common. So check out your university. For those of you that are applying to universities or just finished applying to universities and you're interested in learning Korean, this is probably the books that you're going to use. I have the intermediate 1 and 2 here. I might have bought the beginning books, but I know for a fact I never bought the very first book, but I bought the second book, and then this is 3rd and 4th. And after that, I kind of stopped buying these because my university didn't need these anymore, but now I'm kind of stuck with them. As far as how I felt about the books themselves, meh, they were all right. Also, it was kind of just boring to look at. Look how gray and depressing that is. So I never found it that engaging. There wasn't a whole lot of emphasis on speaking, which is one of the things that I always look for in a textbook. Because when it comes down to it, you don't learn a language to be able to just read it. You learn it to be able to speak it with other people and to be able to communicate in a kind of offhand, like spur of the moment type of way. And you can't really, I didn't find that I acquired those skills from these books. That could just be me, whatever floats your boat. These types of books are better though for writing. If you find that you ever plan to do anything in any professional sense in Korea, you will really need that like writing background, so that's pretty good. I don't completely regret having these books because even when I studied in Korea, like I had a really good foundation in writing, so my writing scores were crazy good, and I'm not even that great of a writer in Korean. But because my grammar was pretty on point, people were like, wow, you're really, really good at this. And I was like, no, this is the only thing I learned when I was back at school. So here's this. This is the newest in the collection. This is the Korean grammar for speaking. As I was talking about before, I didn't find that those books were particularly good for speaking practice. I felt like I knew a bunch of information, but by the time I got to a university in Korea, I was like, yeah, I know a bunch of words. I'm not stupid. And that's where a book like this would really come in handy. I was sent this by the maker of this book, and this one is geared towards beginning speakers. And basically it has a focus on real life application and actually how to speak Korean. It seems so obvious, but not all books really focus on that. Also, if you can compare, if you see up close, a lot more color, a lot more engaging than I found other books tend to be. Also, the teacher of this book does lessons on YouTube, so if you want to check them out, I'll put that down in the description box so you can check them out. As this is a beginning book, and I feel like it's just a shame for me to keep it when I can't benefit from it the same way that I think other people can. I am holding my little giveaway. 2 giveaways in a very short period of time. I love it. I love doing giveaways. It's always so much fun. This time we're gonna do it on Twitter. All you gotta do is be subscribed, tweet, Kendall, I would like that book, at KennieJD. All my social media will be up here somewhere, and just say, Kendall, I'd like that book. I picked a person, then I picked a person. And I'll like pin it on my timeline so people know I already picked a person. Also, if you want to just buy this book, I'll put that down in the description box as well. Now let's talk about higher level books. I feel like when it comes to like beginning books, generally speaking, the information is the same, but the difference is the actual delivery of that information. That's what's really important. However, when you are somewhere between intermediate, advanced area, it gets rough. This is where people tend to stagnate. I actually think I've been pretty stagnant for a while. The higher up you get, the more information that you need to know. So a lot of my upper level books were all from Korean universities. These two right here are my Yonsei books. This is my reading book, which is just filled with quite lengthy-ish reading samples. I don't know if you can see that, but they end up being like a page or so. But they're pretty dense with a bunch of words and subject matter that I don't know. So that one page that doesn't seem that long ends up being pretty arduous, to say the least. I appreciate it because I do end up learning a lot. You end up learning a lot of vocabulary, more natural ways of speaking, so I did really like this book. And then this was the lesson book. You don't really learn sentence structure that much, you just learn kind of natural phrasing and more advanced phrasing and situations in which you would use this in advanced phrasing. Learning things like different types of diseases. But yeah, it's a solid book. It comes with a CD, but I don't have a CD player in anything that I own, so I don't use it. But if you have a CD player, that would help you. But I must say, my favorite books that I've ever used, and to this day have ever used, are the Seogang books, the Seogang University textbooks. I have 3A and 3B here, 4A and 4B. If I'm not mistaken, they go up to 6A and 6B, maybe 7A and 7B, I'm not quite sure. But after you get beyond like 4A, 4B, that's when you're just learning how to debate, I came to find out, which I have nothing against that. I want that book. The problem with getting books like the Seogang book and the Yonsei book is that they are very hard to get your hands on. 3A and 3B I bought because I was attending Seogang, so I just got it while I was at Seogang in Korea. But 4A and 4B I got online, and it was actually really difficult and really expensive to get these friggin' books. There's something about the way that it's organized that just makes a lot more sense to me. To be honest, the books are very similar to the Yonsei books. However, the thing that kind of tips them over and makes them my favorite is how useful. Oh my god, they were so useful. Especially 3A and 3B when I was in Korea for the first time. I didn't know what was going on. I needed to withdraw money. I needed to go to a bank. I needed to tell people things were broken, and I didn't know how to do those basic things. And I had been studying Korean for a really long time, and I was like, I know how to talk about a presidential pardon, but I don't know how to say my printer is broken. That's what happened when you're a Korean studies major. You learn a whole bunch of useless stuff that you'll never use again, but you don't know how to do the basic things that you needed to know how to do. Anyway, so when I got to Korea and actually had real life problems, what do I do when my sink is broken? Who do I talk to? What do I say? That book really came in handy. But the tipping off point are these little booklets here that come with your textbook. These are basically a boiled down version of your textbooks. All the vocabulary, all the grammar you've learned, some sentence structure, and all of it explained in English, whereas the textbooks themselves have no English in them at all. But these supplementary books are really good to clarify if you're just not quite getting what something means. And the Yonsei book, the entire book is in Korean, but it doesn't have this explanation when things just don't make sense. Sometimes they just don't make sense to you, and you need that translation. I will look online and see if maybe I can find them on Amazon. I haven't really looked to purchase these books in a while, so I can see. But if you are ever in Korea, go to Seogang and try to get your hands on some of these books. They're really powerfully good if you use them correctly. Like if you use them well and you diligently use them, they're crazy good. Now, as of right now, I'm not really doing a whole lot of learning new grammar type things anymore. I know a lot of grammar. At this point, I'm just reading. I'm reading a whole lot more, and this is Selected Readings in Korean. This is made from the same publisher as the integrated Korean books, full of nothing but reading material. And then in the back, there's some obscure grammar that I've literally heard no one ever use, but if someone ever uses it, I know what it means. A bunch of cultural facts and a bunch of just useful information that you wouldn't think to look up. So far I've been really enjoying these more so than the actual textbooks that they sell. If you like this video, don't forget to like this video. If your friends would find this helpful, don't forget to share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.